All right, we're pleased to be joined by Remy Martin, Ochai Agbaji, and Jalen Wilson. As a reminder, we have microphone holders on both sides of the room. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone to you. If you would, please identify yourself by your name and affiliation. We'll get started on the second row in the center aisle.
Shea Wildeboard, JayhawksLand.com. For all three of you guys, big picture, this has kind of been the goal for you guys all year, one win away from the Final Four. How much does that drive you guys, or how much emotion is involved, and how do you guys contain that knowing that you don't play tomorrow till 1:20?
Ochai, you want to take that first?
Yeah, I mean, it is just really motivating, knowing how far we've come, all the work we put in, and, we're at this point, just as a team, and, we're just so close to obviously getting to a Final Four, dream for everyone on our team. So just staying focused, just staying locked in, and that's just what we're on right now.
Jalen, anything to add?
Yeah, like you said, we're just, going through from all the work that we put in. I think every single win we get just makes us even more hungry for the ultimate goal, and that's the championship. So I'm super excited and super hungry to play.
Remy?
Yeah, just super motivating, just to know how close we are and, all the hard work that we put in. So we're just going to continue to do what we need to do and stick to basics of what got us here, and the rest will take care of itself.
Go to the second row in the center aisle.
Okay, cool. Good afternoon, guys. David Song, IUPUI Sports Capital Journalism. First of all, congratulations on the win last night. And secondly, this one's for Remy and Jalen. So you guys, Ochai finished with a career-high 4 blocks last night, and he was a +6. So what are the things that he does to impact the game and help you guys win, even though he's not always scoring the basketball?
Remy, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, man, Ochai's an all-around player. That's why, he's All-American, and that's why he is who he is because he helps us in so many things on the court that people may not see on a stat sheet. And that's why he's the best player in the country. That's why he is who he is. He does so much on the court, and he does off the court as far as in talking to us, making sure everybody's good. He's just a leader, man, and that's why he's the best player in the country, period.
Jalen?
Yeah, I just say, from the entire year, teams know who we are, teams know who he is, and when we were in games and they want to play him certain ways and not try to let him get the ball, it just opens up lanes for us. So, no matter what's going on with him offensively, you're going to have to respect him because you know what he can do. And I think that helps our team so much because when teams try to adjust and play like that, it allows for us to, get the ball moving more. And when you have a leader that's so unselfish like he is, it just makes us flow so much better because we all have the same mindset. That's just to win.
Next question all the way on the left.
Hey guys, Danny Welniak, KCTV5 out of Kansas City. There was a pretty cool double half-court shot made at during practice from Lightfoot and Tehan. How are you guys staying loose, and how are you guys having fun during this time, and also kind of talk about that and witnessing that?
Ochai?
It was actually a quadruple double. There was like 4 half-court shots in a row that we made. So it was crazy, something that we've never seen, obviously. But everyone's just kind of having fun, being present in the moment. We were playing Duck, Duck, Goose to warm up before practice. So everyone's just having fun. It just shows a lot about our team.
Go to the second row on the right.
Yeah, hi guys. Austin Lawton, IUPUI Sports Capital Journalism Program. Remy, you're shooting lights out right now. 23 last night, 13 in the first half last night. What does it mean to you to show people on the national stage that you are a scorer and you can play like you have been playing?
It feels good. It feels good to go out there and play my game. I think that, all the work that I put in the off season, I'm now able to showcase because I'm fully healthy, and my teammates and my coaches are allowing me and making my confidence higher and higher each game. So I'm just being myself out there. I'm happy that I'm healthy, thanks to, the trainers and everybody who's stuck with me, my family and everything. But I'm just happy to go out there and play my game the way I know how to play. And these guys have been extremely helpful throughout the whole process. So a big credit to, my teammates and my coaches for just believing in me.
Next question will be the fourth row on the left.
Yeah, Andy Seligman, AP. Ochai, what do you remember about Charlie Moore as a teammate?
Playing with Charlie, he's a great teammate. He was there my freshman year, so I was only there with him for 1 year until he transferred out. But he was a great teammate, really good passer, really aggressive, and can also score. And just his IQ for the game, his feel for the game, I think is something that's kind of unheralded. But he's a really good all-around player.
Next question, we'll go third row on the right side. On the aisle.
Kenitra Williams, Big 12 Now, ESPN Plus. Ochai, who's the Doug Goose champion?
Who got a winner? We didn't really get a winner. It was just kind of we played like a couple rounds, but the circle was too big, so it was kind of hard to catch, like for the person to catch up on them. But it was still fun though.
Serious question. What is the balance between remaining aggressive but not hunting your shot?
Finding that balance, I think, comes within just the flow of the game. I've done in my time here at KU in my past 4 years, just understanding the flow of the game, where I find my shots at, and sometimes it is out of my character to go hunt shots. So just finding the flow of the game, where I'm going to get my shots, I know where I'm going to find those. So and also it just goes back to just trusting my teammates too, because they're actually responsible for a lot of the baskets I get. So just trusting them and trusting the coaches to put me in the right position. So that's it.
Go to the front row on the left.
Yeah, Jordan Gusky, Topeka Capital Journal. For each of you, this is the first chances that y'all are having to make a Final Four, but are there any memories in your lives previously playing basketball that measure up to whatever emotions you're feeling right now?
None. I don't think there's any.
No, I mean, for March Madness, this is the biggest stage I've been on as far as basketball in my life. And, being this close is super, super motivating for all of us. And, no, I don't think anything could match up to this at all.
Go to the back right corner.
Henry Asmer, Zagsblog.com. Ochai, heading into this season, what did you envision your role would be both on and off the court for the team?
It's simple. Just like what Remy was saying, just a leader. Anything that the team needs for me to do, whether that's talking, making sure everyone's right, or being aggressive, being that scorer, that main scorer for the team, just anything the team needed for me to do for us to be successful.
Second row on the left.
This is for Ochai and Jalen, Vahe Gregorian, Kansas City Star. Obviously, you would have preferred that Remy be able to be healthy and in the flow of things all season, but I'm curious what you think it's done for you guys to have such an added dimension this late in the season, how much you think that's reinvigorated what you can do and even made you a different team a little bit.
I would say just starting things off. I think it actually helped Remy too, watching throughout the season, watching how we play, and then also where he sees himself too. But when he's in the game, and obviously in this postseason stretch, he's just brought a different dynamic offensively. It's really hard for other teams to scout us when you throw someone in even after conference when everyone's been heavily scouting us. So it just, like I said, just brings a different dynamic.
Go to the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just think he changes our team. I mean, completely when he comes in the game. With him being super aggressive like we want him to be and super confident and just being him and playing like the game that he knows how to play, I mean, it changes the complete aspect of who we are. I mean, we're able to be so much faster. The energy he brings with the excitement, getting the crowd involved, just those little things that we were missing takes our team to another level.
Go to the fourth row in the center aisle.
David Lawrence, Jayhawk Radio. Remy, at least one coach that saw you at ASU and have seen you recently at Kansas has said how much better defensively you are. I would like to see if you agree with that and cite examples. And then for Jalen, there's been a couple of instances you're always, getting downhill, being aggressive, but sometimes your attack mode just goes to the ultra level and just taking over games. So, Remy, go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that, that was one of the main reasons why I came here, not only to win, but better myself as a basketball player and cover all my bases for whatever the future holds for me. And I think that Coach Self and the staff and my teammates have held me to a standard which they know that I could reach with my quickness and my ability to recover, on the defensive end, just being able to reach that potential. And, I would agree with that statement because I feel like I'm more locked in defensively. Especially, just thinking the game itself, just knowing, little things. Coach Self has helped me on and give me a better insight. He's the best coach around, so learning from him has been an honor, and, I'm learning consistently every single day, so I would agree with that statement.
Jalen?
I think just being aggressive just comes within the flow of the game, taking what I can get from the defense, especially when I know my team needs me to get down to the paint and, create plays, whether it's taking it to the hoop or making the right pass. Just me trying to be the toughest guy on the court, and if that takes me driving and creating contact with fouls and getting to the free throw line, just anything to get us going. With like a little spark. I know driving is kind of contagious with us. One guy gets downhill, then the next guy does. So just trying to do that.
Go to the fourth row on the far left.
Hey, this is Jake Cohen, Associated Press. This is for any of you guys. Obviously, Bill Self's been in the public eye for a long time as a very successful coach. But I was wondering if you guys can share anything that surprised you about him from your interactions with him over the year. Anything that maybe we don't get to see, as the media looking, outside into your program.
Ochai, you want to take that?
Yeah. From when he started recruiting me, something that, obviously people know that he's a really good guy, just outside of coaching, but just, how he treats people, how he treats everyone. He treats everyone, the same way, even from players to managers to everybody. He's just a rounded, nice human being. So I give him props to that. And just, I think the motivating factor that he brings to our team and all the teams that he's coached is something that not a lot of people see. He'll always give speeches when we're watching film or stuff like that, and you'll be ready to go run through a brick wall right after. So that's just how he is, and he's just one of the best motivators that I've ever met.
Go to the second row on the center aisle.
Good afternoon again, guys. This one's for Ochai and Jalen. So Miami is very good in transition. They're very disruptive, and even though they're not a big team, they've shown the ability to defeat bigger teams. So for you guys, what will be the key to countering their strengths and finding a game plan that works against them?
I would say, obviously, containing their transition play. They play a lot of isolation, so it's going to be, guard your man, know their tendencies, always have help, strong side help, all that stuff. So we're just going to need to be in sync defensively to disrupt what they're trying to do.
Got time for one last question in the back.
Hey guys, Sully Ingles, Cake News in Wichita. Kansas men's basketball became the winningest program of all time last night. Obviously, there's bigger goals right now, and you've all been here at different lengths at Kansas, but just want to get your thoughts on that, being a part of that, what that means to you.
Remy, want to take that?
Me being a newcomer means a lot. Means a lot to be on this side of history, and just give thanks to all the teams and all the players that came before me. When I came to Kansas, seeing all these players and seeing all the history, it made me want to be a better person, better basketball player, and I'm just thankful to be on this team and make history. But it's also a privilege, and I'm happy just to be a part.
Jalen, do you have anything you want to add?
No, it's just a blessing to be able to put my mark on such a historic school like Kansas with all the great players that came through here, and all the championships, all the wins. Just to be able to have like a small part in that is a blessing.
All right, at this time we're going to let the players go to the breakout rooms. If you need directions to the breakout room, Casey's in the back there, could lead you. And we'll let the players go. We'll bring on Coach Self. Thank you. Let me grab it.
Hey, how you doing? I'm good, Bill. This is unofficial. How you doing? Good. I'll ask. Can we start or no? Let's go for a moderator at your back.
Dan, step up. This isn't your first rodeo, right?
Take everybody. I'm making up, man.
All right, questions for Coach Self, second row on the left.
Hi, Bill.
Just about Remy, I know, I'm sure in a perfect world you would have preferred he was healthy all season and sort of fit in the way you wanted to all season. On the other hand, I wonder how much of an advantage it is to have him emerge this way late and almost be like a, entirely new thing for people to scout and understand with your team.
Well, I think that, our goal going into the year was Remy Martin would give this team something that we needed. We needed speed, we needed personality, we needed explosiveness. And, he obviously provides all those things, but he hasn't had an opportunity to provide them really all year long. I think the first several games when he was here, he was still getting comfortable, and then he gets injured, and so somehow or another in the last 3 weeks or so, he's been able to combine comfort, personality, health, explosiveness, all these things in a way that we haven't even seen yet this year. So we've said all along that we had a chance to be a much better team than what we displayed, even though we had a really good year, just because of him, but not knowing what him really was. And so, it's been great. He's one of the few guys out there that can have a miserable or a very poor year by his own expectations due to things outside of his control. And he would tell you right now he's having the time of his life. It's been the best year ever, in large part just because it's gone well the last couple of weeks.
Is it okay for me a quick follow-up?
Sure, go ahead.
Is it almost better for you that it's played out this way?
I don't know. I don't know. I do think that there's something to. We look at Remy's stats, which have been fantastic for us, but we look at that and then sometimes we say, well, if he was more used to playing with Och and Och was more used to playing with him, could we have the combination of both a little better? I think it'd be like you get that healthy quarterback, but he hasn't really practiced with the receivers running patterns. So, but I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's been great for us. But I think the longer we can stay together and hang together, it's got a chance to be better than it has been.
Go to the second row on the right.
Coach Self, David Song, IUPUI Sports Capital Journalism. First of all, congratulations on the win yesterday. And secondly, in Miami, you face a team that is very good in transition, and they've proven capable of disrupting physically bigger teams. So in your opinion, what will be the key to countering Miami's strengths and being successful tomorrow?
Well, I mean, when you talk about standing height, maybe we have them an inch in most positions or whatever. I coached Charlie. Remy's not any bigger than Charlie or Juan. Two big guys are same standing height. So I don't think there's a huge discrepancy size-wise. I think the fact that they can score off of turning people over is what we have to be concerned about. They can score in a lot of ways, and of course they can make hard shots. But the biggest thing is live ball turnovers leads to them really being able to utilize their offensive skill set, which is really strong. So we got to play 5-on-5 against them, and that'll be a big goal of ours tomorrow.
Go all the way to the back on the left.
Bill, over here, Harold Kuntz with Fox 4 in Kansas City. This game and the Elite Eight game has always been kind of difficult for you over the years that you've been at KU and throughout your career. When it comes to just the Elite Eight game, what makes this game so difficult to prepare for and get your players to prepare for, knowing that that dangling carrot of the Final Four is just right there?
Well, I think there's you're exactly right. I think we're 3-7 in my career in Elite Eight games, so that's not good enough. I don't know that it is a different game because it's the hardest game in the tournament to not win. You can talk about first round, you can talk about whatever. It's the hardest game. In national championship finals, at least you're playing for it all, or whatever. But this one, every goal of every team is road to the Final Four. It's not road to the national championship. It's road to the Final Four. And even though the national championship is by far the biggest carrot and by, the biggest prize, and nobody will remember who's in the Final Four 10 years ago. They'll only remember the one cut down nets. In players' minds, that's the goal. That's how it's marketed. And they do such a good job of marketing it. But I think that makes the game a hard one not to win. It makes the game the second best one to win, at least in my experiences. So obviously not as important as the following Monday. But I don't know that preparation is harder. I do think preparation's different. We're at the mercy of CBS or television networks. So you could play a late game, play an early game. There's sleep patterns. There's obviously the day between the Friday and the Sunday game, or the Thursday and the Saturday game of the Elite Eight. I mean, you're talking about a 30-minute practice and mainly a walkthrough, where most of the time you'd be able to really practice more or do different things. And then this time of year also, fatigue mentally becomes such a huge factor. You don't want to just wear your guys out by doing too much. So I was with Coach Knight when we went to the Final Four one year, or our first year. I asked him any advice. He said, yeah, don't practice on Sunday if you win. I said, what do you mean don't practice? We got to practice. He said, don't practice on Sunday. I saw him Sunday evening at an event, and he said, how long did you practice today? And I said, 18 minutes. Too long. You totally blew it. But that's kind of the mindset that fresh legs and fresh minds are far more important than practice time.
Just a quick follow-up upon that. What makes you think the mindset of this team that you have can get through this moment in the Elite Eight and get to the Final Four?
Well, I think, first of all, I don't want them to think get through. I want them to think attack it. Get through is a defensive deal, hoping to hang on to something. I want them to play like they're going to take it. So that's the mindset. And this team has had, there's no guarantee that anybody's going to play good the next day. What happens today, even though you want to practice well, doesn't guarantee success tomorrow. But the mindset of having a team that has some swagger about them, that likes the big moments, I think gives me and them quite a bit of confidence.
Go to the back row on the center aisle.
Thank you. Mitch Smith, New York Times. Given the number of super seniors on the team, can you talk a little bit about how the extra year of eligibility from COVID helped shape the team's roster and kind of what that's meant down the stretch from the tournament?
You know what? It really hasn't shaped ours as much. We've got, obviously, Remy and Mitch. Those are two guys that wouldn't have had the year back if it weren't for the COVID. Jalen, Coleman, Lands really hadn't had a chance to play much, but you're looking at, if you just look at just our starters, those starters all have eligibility left. So the thing about it is, even though we're an old team, they technically could all come back next year. I do think this. I think what's happened with the, you look at the team we played last night, Providence. If they didn't have those four cats, they would look a lot different. If we didn't have Remy, we'd look a lot different. You look across America. If Villanova didn't have Gillespie, they'd look a lot different. I believe he's a super senior as well. So I think it's been great for the individuals. I also think it's been great for the quality of ball this year, to give these kids an opportunity to play another year, but also to give teams a chance to maybe keep from dipping. Because there hasn't been much of this. It's been mainly pretty steady.
Go to the front row on the left.
Bill, how beneficial just Mitch and Chris being on that team in 2018 is for a moment like this?
You know what? I would think maybe a little bit beneficial. Chris didn't participate in the game. And he may have got in late because it wasn't a great game, unfortunately. But Mitch has been through it quite a few big games and big moments, so it may help some, but I'm really not buying into that stuff as much. I think this is a really a first-time experience basically for this team, even though Mitch played in this game one other time, but I don't really see in that being a huge benefit.
Go to the second row on the right.
Hi, Coach. Austin Lawton, IUPUI Sports Capital Journalism Program. Last night, you guys became the winningest men's basketball program in history, something that doesn't happen every day. What does that mean for you personally to add to the history of Kansas since you've been here so long as well?
Well, I think, we started quite a few games behind. So we made up a little bit of ground, and it certainly means something, and I'd much rather be there than not be there. But really all it means, guys, is that we won a game last night, and we get a chance to go, increase that big deficit of one by winning, doubling it by winning a game tomorrow. And to me, that's all that really matters. The other thing is, the way it could be said is that, we passed Kentucky, so that's just the way it is. Well, this could last until, November 15th, and then it could flip again December 1st. So I'd rather be talked about in that light than not, but it really doesn't be a good recruiting mail out, but I don't think it carries much weight with us right now.
Go to the far left.
Hey, Bill, Jay Cohen, Associated Press. Wonder if you could tell us a little bit about your relationship with Jim Laranega over the years, like how far do you go back and stuff? And when I say to you, a Jim Laranega coach team, what traits does that kind of bring to mind for you?
Well, I really haven't known Jim long or well. Of course, I've known of him and knew him, but the most time that I've spent with him is on an Adidas retreat in the summertime, where we both went and had a chance to have some dinners together and hang out together, and I think we've become friendly since then. When I think of his teams, I think well coached, but I also think of freedom. It seems like to me he always has his teams playing with joy, with a free mind, and aggressive offensively, which I think is a great trait to have as a coach.
Go in the back row on the right side.
Coach Lawrence Kramer, the DePaulia. What do you make of Charlie Moore's growth as a player since he left Kansas, and is there any advantage of having coached him to now preparing to face him tomorrow?
Well, first of all, Charlie's playing his tail off. I think Charlie may have the best vision of anybody left in the tournament. The guy sees a lot of things. He did with us. He didn't play a lot when he was with us for 1 year, just in large part because we had two NBA players playing the guard slots then. But Charlie's talented. He's clever. He can get his own shot, and he can certainly create for others. And he's crafty. He's very crafty. I mean, he can do little things that get you off balance that allow him to get his shoulders past you and things like that. But Charlie was a good player for us, but Charlie has become a terrific player. I thought I didn't follow him as close. I watched as much as I could when he was at DePaul, and I thought he had a good 2 years there. I think it was 2 years there. But to me, his game's gone to another level, being at the University of Miami. I think he's just done fantastic, and I'm happy for him. I was happy for all the kids that's no longer in our programs that do well, and he certainly has.
Go to the back row on the left.
Coach Braxton Jones, KWCH in Wichita. I'm just curious, the time, I don't know if any at all, do you spend looking at last night's tape, looking at what you guys did right and wrong versus all aboard for Miami? How do you kind of marry that to make sure you're getting the most out of the short time you have to turn around before games?
I'm embarrassed to say I hadn't looked at one play from last night's game. Got home late, watched the end of, obviously, the game after us last night, watching Miami and Iowa State. And then after that game was over, watched Miami in the tournament and some ACC tournament games. And I still got a couple more games to watch, and we spent quite a lot of time watching a long edit, which is basically showing their actions or the defense, what they like to do over and over and over. But at this point in time, I mean, I'm big at watching film of past games and learning from our mistakes and our successes. But this weekend, we won't do any of that. It's all locked in on Miami.
Go to the right side on the aisle.
Bill, last couple of weeks, I'm not sure, but maybe our shooting numbers have dipped a little bit, but certainly our opponents' shooting numbers are really going down, and they're not playing as well, which is what you always talk about. How How close is this team getting to accomplishing, what you always have looked at in making sure opponents don't play well and being tough and being defensive minded?
I think that, Dave, I think we're getting closer. I thought last night the first half is the best we've played defensively, but it's probably as poor as we played offensively too. So, your team goes 7-35 and you're up 9.5. That's probably not a great recipe for success because tables will turn eventually. Law averages will come closer to prevailing, and it did the second half. We had to fight our butts off to get the win. But I do think we've improved in that. But to win at this level, and from this point forward in the NCAA tournament, you got to do both. And we're still waiting for the lid to come off, but we believe that'll happen tomorrow.
Got time for 2 more questions in the room. I'll take 2 via Zoom. We'll go on the left side.
In addition to coaching Charlie, another guy you've seen in person, Cameron McGusty, what does he add to Miami's success?
He had a good run at Oklahoma, and playing for Lon. But this is to me the development of these guys being able to go get their own shot. To me is very apparent. He was a good scorer at OU. He can score all 3 levels now, and he can get it with his handle. He can get it off the catch. He can explode over you. There's a lot of things he can do to score, and they have multiple guys that can do that. So that's what makes this team hard to guard, in my opinion.
Go to the front right.
Bill, I was wondering about the health of the team. Like Dave got off to a slow start, then had a great second half. How is Dave and Mitch?
I actually think Mitch is the best he's been. So I thought Mitch was great the first half. I thought he's the best he's been. And Dave, I don't think anything is as much health related. He just got off to a slow start, but he did respond late.
Take a couple questions via Zoom. We'll go to Dave Stewart. Dave, you can unmute your line.
Hey, Coach. Dave Stewart, Jayhawk Game Day Live, KNBC. How much can you teach about an opponent in 24 hours? How do you prioritize what's important to focus on in limited time and not just overwhelm your guys mentally with so much cramming?
Well, I think you can familiarize them with personnel, with tendencies, especially a team like Miami that scores so much off individual talent. I do think that we can do a good job with that. All their actions they run, we're not going to remember all those, but you can familiarize them with it. But understand, okay, this is how we guard ball screens, or this is how we guard, baseline runner, or this is how we guard different actions that maybe some teams throw at you. But I don't think it's a time where you do anything other than play to principles. And so hopefully our guys know well enough how we guard certain things that we won't have to know every move or every step or every screen that Miami will use tomorrow in order to be effective guarding it.
All right, next question is from Christopher Heidel.
Hey, Chris Self. It's Chris Heidel from Herman Radio in Baltimore. Congratulations on making an Elite Eight. How hard is it to prepare for a team that you haven't played before, like in Miami? Because you don't really play the ACC that much.
No, really the only team we played in the ACC, if I remember right, we played Duke every 3 years. So that's been about it. So at least off the top of my head. But they'll be a hard team to prepare for it. But also they've got to prepare for us too. So I don't see it. I think if you haven't seen somebody, you would rather have it be the first game rather than a second game. And if if it was us and Iowa State, I think both teams would say it's an easier prep just because we'd both be so familiar with each other. But you can look at it as a disadvantage for us, but however it is for us, it's for them too. So I think it'll be difficult, but I don't think it'll be anything that both teams can't handle if they play well.
One final question, Brian.
Bill Bryant Hamilton from The Athletic. Do you allow yourself to think about what might have been in 2020? And do you feel like this team and that team have any similarities or differences?
I never felt like this team was the best team in the country this year. I felt like in 20, that was the best team in the country. So I don't really think about it a lot And I don't think that team probably gets the credit from, you know, I hear a lot of people talk about, well, we would have been a high seed or a 1 seed, or we had a great chance to go deep in the tournament, and that's true, but that team was different. You know, there's not very many teams you could ever put out there that'd be the National Defensive Player of the Year is your center, and the National Defensive Player of the Year is your guard. I mean, that team could really guard. That was a different level, a defensive team. This year's team is different totally, but I do think that this year's team has the same chance to do as well, just because they have a strong belief that they can accomplish anything, and it's been impressive for me to watch them grow in that belief this year.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Okay,
We'll see you tomorrow.
thanks.